was just going to throw in that in this day and age, with the price of some of this gear, depending on what you're buying, you might look at just buying a second radio. Put one for each application. Especially if all you need is like a dual band analog radio, you can get those fairly inexpensively.
Yeah. I mentioned that to TKR when he was on. Maybe he'll see the recording. He wanted to put a 400, 350 or 400 in a vehicle, and he said that another gentleman said, well, maybe you don't need Fusion. And all I mentioned just in passing was probably you could buy close to two analogs for the price of the FTM 400. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I did say, for whatever it's worth, and I guess he's considering, is, if you just have the radio in there, it's one less thing to hassle. And if you got to hassle with it, will you use it? So we'll have to find out. Unfortunately, he left to go to the Aries meeting, but that's great stuff there. What's been your experience in mounting, Clint?
I got to go to see you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
I have sitting someplace in a box an FTM 400. It comes with a little bracket type thing that, for most of the use I've made of the 400, I was sitting the bracket on top of the radio head and just setting it on a desktop. But I had it in a car for a while. I've since sold that car. But if you can get to the radio body, wherever you put that, without too much hassle. And way back when, in the 11-meter days, there was some really nice slide in, slide out brackets that you could get. And I imagine they're still out there if you could just find them. But you've got the body and then you've got the control head. And so you've got two pieces to move. And I could be wrong, but Fusion's not that big here. Fusion was bigger in Texas, where I came from, than it is here. DMR was weak in Texas compared to here, but at least where I was at in Texas. But it's kind of pick your poison and go with it. But it's all how you set it up in your rig. For a long time, I had one HT and I had one FT 8800. And I had that set up in one vehicle with the head mounted and radio under a seat. And I was moving it in and out of the car, in and out of the house all the time. And I did it, but it's get the cables. So you can just leave the cables, all the cables in the car, and move it. But especially if you're willing to use some of the Chinese radios, my experience is you can do an awful lot with those little 25-watt Chinese mobiles, and they're dirt cheap. And if one breaks on you, you throw it away and you get another one.
Yeah. We'll have to find out. He's asked the question a few times. I think I'm going to give him a call and see if I can help him one-on-one. He's searching for something, and he's fairly new, so that's what the club's all about, people helping people. Thank you so much, Clint.
But
the one key to remember, I believe most of those Yaesus, it's an RJ6 connector, but the wires crisscross. They're not straight through. So you got to make sure with the cable, you get the right cable.
Yeah.
I was my dad back in, the CB time, he had one of those slide in, slide outs because the CBs were out there in the open, and he wanted to be able to take it out so nobody would steal it. And that's one of the ideas that I gave him if he wanted to go that direction. I don't know who manufactures those now. Because I'm getting back into it. I'm fairly new, but it's just
who's speaking.
This is Clifford.
Is that you? Yeah. What's your call, Clifford?
KJ7 TDD.
Okay, thanks. Please continue.
And it's just, you either had a key that you just unlocked it and you just slid out the whole unit, and it had a control base on top that connected to the one that was mounted, which all your cables went out for your antennas and all that. And all you had to do is just slide it out. If you had the same one, you could slide it into another vehicle, no hassles. I mean, it was a 5-minute job to switch it from one end to the other. And all it is you just slide it in the bracket and it's already connected. Everything's connected up.
I remember those. I remember them. And they still got stuff like that out there now.
The trick is finding it.
Well, yeah, finding it. My guess is he's not totally clear on what his needs are,
right?
And he's new, so I'll be one of the people to call him. Mm-hmm.
What he was talking about.
Tony just put a mount up here on the chat. Go ahead, Wes.
Just saying, since he was talking about taking that, he's 300 for whatever it is. He wanted to take it out and put it in another car. Well, that's not going to happen unless you have a slide mount. You know what I mean? A slide-in system. Trying to take that thing apart, however you got it. Yeah, you're risking some damage here. You know what I mean? You drop it and it's screwed. That kind of stuff. From one car to another car to another car. That's fine and dandy, but you want the whole unit. You don't want to have to be dangling with the control head and the radio. So he's got to think about what he's got to do with it. And I don't know. Like I said, I think Clint had a good idea there, using a couple of them two ways. The 440 and as much of those 25 waters. Put on each one of those cars and keep the big boy at home. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money you drop that sucker.
It all depends. It depends on his needs. It's not like one of them was it's 4x. And of course another way to do it is to put a HT in there with maybe a speaker mic. It all depends on what he needs. So
that's
we'll find.
Yeah, that's my setup too. I'm same way with what I have a HT with me and I got a CS800D. You know what I mean?
On your HT, do you connect it externally to an antenna? How do you do that one or not?
I got it up in the window high, and I guess it's on what's it. It does quite well because it's up the wind. The antenna is in the window. You know what I mean? Not on it, but in it.
But if you're going to deal with four-wheeling and in the backcountry, you really want a mobile because of the power. And
I understand that. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I have a mobile. You know what I mean? I do have a mobile. The CS800D, 45 watts is enough to get around. And I got DMR, UHF, VHF, and all that kind of other stuff. But I also have an HT in case I got to walk up a hill to make a contact. You know what I mean? So, you should always have an HT with you. I'm sorry.
I'll get hold of him and see if I can help talk him through. He's asked the question, but that's what it's all about.
He asked that the other day too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's asking.
Oh,
so what other questions or comments to anybody? Sorry, he's not here, so I think we've got that recorded. Any other thoughts, questions, comments for any of you amazing ham radio operators as part of SNARS? Go for it.
Real quick, if you guys have not noticed yet, but DX Engineering technically has a warehouse in Reno. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. If you do order from their website, and you look at the pickup options, that some of that equipment actually is located in the Reno warehouse, and you can do a will call. So I'm not sure how many have seen that as of late. Just wanted to bring that up.
Makes it nice. Yep.
It's interesting. My understanding is they're similar in nature to say a Home Depot opposed to a HRO. They're open 7 days a week. From 10 to 6 or 10 to 7. It's pretty amazing. It's like calling up Home Depot and say, I need this. You go online, you order it, and then you drive over and pick it up if it's available. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times. My only gripe is that it takes a long time for them to bring whatever you're buying over from across the road where we store it in a different building. Yeah. 20 minutes, half an hour sitting there waiting has been my experience.
Yeah, the good news is there's at least one ham that I know of, and that is Tom W6XX from the SNARS Club that is now working there. I don't know if there's more than one, but we can find out from Tom, what the scoop is or give him some input. Does anybody know if anybody else from the club is working there besides Tom?
I think he quit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he works there.
Maybe you know some info. You have newer information than me, man. Really?
Yeah. That's
What's
why I
the
heard.
deal?
He was there for about 2 days. This is not for me, and quit.
Okay. Well,
So for whatever reason,
scratch that.
scratch that.
Next.
Yeah. So, but they had about 3 or 4 guys they hired. So Scoozy.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's an option for you guys. So if you guys do need something, at least instead of waiting next day, you can at least get it within, within the day sometime if you do.
I think there's another option too. That's it's a couple-hour drive, but I think you've got an HRO now in Sacramento.
Correct. Yeah.
Do.
Just open a shop
I've
there.
been. So I can tell you about that one. They can ship it to you too. So I went there on my way to the Bay Area a few weeks ago. If you're going down I-80 west, before you get to the go downtown called the Business 80, you get off on whatever Madison. And you do a loop. It's right there. It's the stores about the size or so of the old San Jose store. Very nice. It's not overly packed, but they got plenty of stock. And if you order something from them, if they don't have it, they've got 13 store, 12 stores. So a lot of choices.
Don't let that storefront kind of discourage you. Their warehouse, their main distribution warehouse, is behind them. So he bought the buildings. So just because that storefront might look small, they actually have a pretty good sizable warehouse sitting behind that thing. So more times than not, it probably is at that store. So that's going to be one of their big distribution points.
Are you talking about HRO or DX Engineering?
HRO. DX Engineering is the same issue too. It's just, so these guys are all ramping up to, really compete against each other. So that's what's happening at the moment. You have Gigaparts down here in Las Vegas. They have a huge warehouse down here as well too. And so they're, focused on West Coast, et cetera.
That's good.
Damn, still not gonna make 200.
Let me throw a topic out just to see if anybody's got any experience here. I currently have a piece of property under contract, unincorporated Washoe County. What's been the experience with building permits and things like that for putting up antenna towers around here?
Depends on where you're at in Washoe.
Yeah. So he said.
Yeah.
So if you have neighbors in that general area, you're going to be fighting them more than not. But I think Washoe has, what is it, a 35 or a 45?
I want to say 45 from what I've
so they have a
looked
45
online.
foot standard. And then if you want something above and beyond that, then that's a whole different story.
Yeah, you might, Cliff, you might talk to Carl, K5HK. Because he's probably fairly up on those regulations.
Yeah.
I don't have experience with antennas, but I've had 2 or 3, actually 3 experiences with the Washoe Building Department, and my personal experiences were very, very good. I mean, very good. But again, it wasn't antennas, and it didn't affected much in the way of anybody else's views.
Well,
Yeah, if you have neighbors, I would probably maybe chat with them saying, hey, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Well, until I actually own the place, I'm not going to get too excited, but I've got just under 10 acres to play on.
Jesus. I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're going to be fine probably then in that case. Depending though, if you're going to put it on someone on the very edge of the property, that might be an issue.
Yeah.
Next to the homeowner that's probably butting up against you when you actually have the other half to maybe put it on, but just saying.
Well, I think I can keep the fall zone in my property, whatever I do.
There you go. Right on. Yeah. Have ropes on it, so don't go over there. Yep.
Yeah, and watch out for power lines.
Yeah.
They're on the far edge of the property in the front.
Oh, perfect. I was just going to say, just use them as your antennas.
You can email Carl K5 Hotel Kilo at ARRL.net. And he's on his other stations in Lemon Valley, and he's got neighbors, but check that out. Good question.
Oh, I'm going to be up and over the hill from Lemon Valley. So
yeah, when are you looking at? When do you think you're closing on it roughly?
30th of August, if if I can keep things rolling.
So is that Antelope
When's
Valley?
the, when's the
Antelope
antenna
Valley, yeah.
party to put up the
Uh,
big beams?
That's to be determined, but I'll need some help.
I'm right in Lemon Valley, just before you go over the pass there to Antelope Valley. So I'll be real close.
It's good.
Yeah, let me know if you need a hand, and if I'm in town, I'll be happy to give you a hand.
Well, Barry can kind of attest to my situation right now, but I'm looking forward to getting some real antennas back up in the air.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to coming. We're both in apartments in shouting distance from each other, so I'm looking forward to coming over and operating at your station and helping you out.
You might have a crew, a contest team on your hands, man.
Well, I'm probably at this point thinking put up something that's in the 40, 45 foot category just to get something up. I don't 100, 200, something like that's probably beyond my budget, but and real needs, but get something up in the air and get started and go from there and let it grow.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
the, you know,
my
that's what
10
Carl
acres
did.
I was just gonna say on the 10 acres, just make sure you kind of keep a nice little area. It sounds like a great field day site.
Yes, it does.
Well,
You should be
does.
fine, but you know, the airport is over here, so, you know, just make sure you're not violating, you know, their rules.
I've went to the FCC Tower site already, and I have no airports within 8 miles.
You're in
Are you,
Lemon Valley.
are you in Antelope Valley? That's, if you
Uh-huh.
are, that's not true.
Tower didn't say anything, but I think there's a couple of private strips out there.
Well, no, the Reno Stead Airport's under 8 miles from Antelope Valley. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's a 12-mile drive for me to work, and I work at Stead Airport, so,
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
but that's not crow flies.
Yeah, there's also a mountain in between.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah, you're probably fine, but I just take a look and just make sure.
Well, in any case, I'm pretty sure I'm good with Stead Airport. The one that would give me any hassle would be if there's a private landing strip that I need to deal with, and I don't think those are even a problem. I dealt with that just a little bit where I lived in Waco. The Waco Regional Airport was just down the road from me, and when I did the math with everything, 90 feet was the highest antenna I could put up at that place. So I kind of did a quick look.
I think the nearest airport to you would be over in Palomino Valley. They've got that glider airport close to where the
Oh yeah.
gun
Yeah.
range. That's it. That's the only active one that's really going right now. So you should be good on that one too.
A glider airport where?
It's down from the where the shooting range in Palomino Valley. They've got
Oh,
a
that's
small
way
little-
out there. That's
Yeah.
way out there.
Well, it's against the crow flies. I mean, if I wanted to
From
go
where
into
I'm at,
Antelope Valley-
it's, and I'm trying to remember if it's 8 miles or 5 miles. I think it's actually 5 miles that I
I
have
used to,
to clear,
I-
but I should be good on that one too.
I used to fly there myself. It's off of Winnemucca Ranch Road.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you take, like, say, go through Moon Rocks and cut across over, that's right into Antelope Valley. So, that's my shortcut to Antelope Valley.
Yeah, if you're 50 feet, you have 50 feet that you have to play with when it comes to being near an airport. That's the requirement.
Yeah, I should be okay regardless.
I think you're good. Unfortunately, my back fence is the West Stead fence. So right now, I'm stuck at 20 feet. Even though my barn is 25 feet and my trees are at least 30 feet. The antennas on my barn might be higher than 20 feet. We're not talking about that. You should out there. I think you're in that, what's maxed out for ham? Is it 200, 250?
200 without a FCC tower registration.
But
So
yeah,
I would think. you'd be
but that
fine
ignores
there.
local rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the county rules are.
Well, as near as I can
There's
tell,
also-
with what reading I've done, with the low density rural zoning on that place, I'm allowed, it's a 35-foot structure height. And they add an extra 10 feet for mass. There's some contradictory wording that says antennas don't apply, but yet 2 paragraphs down, they apply. I think it's 45, and I'm trying to decide if that's just the tower itself or if that's the tower and the antenna itself. But I can probably live with that, at least short term.
Probably depends on the neighbors though. Mostly, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure with PBR1 type legislation, if neighbors have much of a say, if it doesn't fall onto their place. If there's no fall zones or anything like that, I'm probably okay.
Where it comes into play with, with any government, planning and city council is if the neighbors are on board, they usually don't squawk. But if the neighbors start making a bunch of noise and calling their offices, that's where you get into the trouble.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was thinking.
it's more or less.
And that's
that.
a good.
It might not be a restriction on height per se. It's just the aesthetics that
Public opinion, right?
Yeah. So that's the piece that always derails these things.
Camouflage.
And the way
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the way camouflage is good. Painting it.
Yeah, paint it battleship gray, just like the Navy paints their battleships.
But the way, one of the ways around that, just, public opinion issue, if you will, is ARES, and not just ARES, but goodwill.
Yeah.
Goodwill, you can help all that. It's a deal there. Well, very good, Clint. Looking forward to helping you get things up and going. And I know you had a big station there, a nice station there in Waco. So congratulations on the upcoming QTH.
Yeah, congratulations. And let me know if you need help.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to need some help. The other question I had, I'm not as dumb and stupid as I used to be, where I would tackle some of these jobs myself. Is there a reputable tower erection company around here that people have used?
The W7NV, or is it K7NV? Is that him?
So if he's still doing a K7NV, that's Kurt out of Gardnerville. He's your closest, if he's still doing it. I know he's getting up in his age. They had 3 guys doing it. The joke was like 3 guys, 3 hams. K7NV. There's another fellow, a younger guy who's maybe in his under 50. His name's Hector, XC2K. He lives in, I want to say Arizona, but he comes up and does stuff in different areas. XC2K, he has a U.S. call. So those are the 2 places I would look at that are both hams and know how to do stuff.
Yeah, also talk to Tom.
Yeah.
On the hill. He has
K5RC.
Yeah.
K5RC. He has resources that he gets up there, and there is a commercial company in town that does tower sites and that's it's called CommSite, CommSite, and they're located down off of they're down in Sparks. I'll have to look it up, but CommSite, I use them with the BLM and Forest Service to erect towers on mountaintops and they're a good outfit.
That's the type of information I was looking for, because
I'll put up. Yeah, go ahead. I'll put XE2K's and emails address and also Tom's on there.
Well, guys, it's been a slice. Thanks for the meeting, Barry. It's a good time.
Okay,
Take care.
good. Fun.
You guys, I have to go run as well. So have fun.
All right, guys, it's been fun.
Thanks, Tony.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
Take care of watching the NASCAR truck race right now.
7-3 all.
See you later. Thanks for letting me join.